It's Talk Funny, a podcast by Mark Bailey and other comics from all over. We ended up in Japan because we wanted to read all of the rules posted at Japanese swimming pools. But we only had 3 weeks at one pool, so could not read all of them. The Talk Funny podcast from NagoyaRadio.com and Nagoya Comedy. Here's Mark Bailey.
Hey, it's Mark Bailey and Mike Miller and Talk Funny.
Good to be here.
Oh, Audible. I've been a big customer of Audible.
Uh-huh.
With all my language stuff, the Pimsleur, I bought almost all the Pimsleur catalog, but I had credits and stuff. And they contacted me about writing a book, so I'm going to do an Audible book with them. You know,
Is that because they heard the podcast?
they've heard the podcast, and it's supposed to be up. I haven't checked it. It's supposed to be up. I tried to put it up on Amazon Music and also Audible US. So our podcast is on. But then they contacted, I guess they heard it, and they contacted me and said, you have a lot of funny stories, so maybe you would like to do a... And they said,
That's awesome. Congratulations.
is this paid? And they said, yeah, it's paid, but you produce it. Which I can do. I mean, it's easy.
Great.
It's no different from a podcast. It's just organization. But it's just the sound quality is the same.
Yeah.
I mean, so if it works, we'll just do an audiobook for, I'll do an audiobook and we'll do one as Nagoya Comedy.
Do one in Hindi as well.
Yeah.
Here, in our beautiful new studio. Things are looking up. What can I say?
Who could have seen us 9 years ago? Be like, if you could see us in 9 years, picture this, a train station, picture this.
If the listeners could see where we are right now, you would not believe it. You would be like, what?
I've been watching, do you know who Nathan Fielder is? He had something called Nathan For You. And now he's on Showtime in a series called Cursed. He's on with Emma Stone. Mm-hmm. And it's like The Office, but it's outside. It's just very awkward. Just all these awkward moments. He lies to a little girl, and then his fiance meets the little girl inexplicably and hears the lie that he told. And she's like, if you were not honest with me in the past, you could just tell me. No, I've always told you the truth. Really? That's not what Lisa said. Who's Lisa? She's a 6-year-old black girl. Because they do reality TV.
It sounds a little bit like Curb Your Enthusiasm.
It is like that. And they're making fun of reality TV. As you probably know this, but reality TV, they try to make people fight with each other, right? Well,
No.
not the first person to say that.
No.
They want drama, because it's a drama, right? So they'll say, all right, Mike, I know you're best friends with Mark because Craig, and never mind what he said about you before we turn Mike's stuff. But anyway, you guys go. And talking about me? You talking about?
I heard him say something nasty.
Jack said, I told Jack
Yeah.
that Mike is not supposed to talk about it. No, but he only says good things. No, but Mike, I told Mike distinctly, don't talk about me, good or bad. No, but it's always good things. But I said, now I got to talk to Mike about this. He said, Mike? Who's Mike? You do comedy. I do comedy? I should do comedy. I can do that. There's a callback with Jack. So they make fun of reality shows. They're creating all this drama. And it's really good because the actor, he's actually not an actor, he's a comedian. Nathan, I think I mentioned his name. Mm-hmm. He's very good at the awkward stuff. So he's kind of like Charles Grodin. Remember him?
Oh, yeah, Charles
Grodin would go on The Tonight Show and Letterman would say, so you've got a new movie coming out. Mm-hmm. No, I don't.
Yeah.
You asked me before the show to mention. I never did that. It was somebody else. But you don't have a movie coming out? I don't know. What would it be called? I thought this was in the 80s, like Midnight Run with De Niro, which I recommend. It's a great movie. Do we have a clip? Oh, we have a clip. So he goes, Charles, what's the clip about? He goes, I have no idea. I didn't even know I was in this one. That wasn't even from your movie. He goes, I told you I don't have a movie. He goes, Letterman, you do this every time to me. We talk about what we're going to talk about, and we get on, and you change everything. And Letterman's like, you change everything. And Letterman has a good save. He said, like, you want to come back on another night and we try this over? Mm-hmm. So I recommend Cursed. I can't get it. It's on Showtime. But Paramount Plus, I'm thinking...
I don't know. How do you get that in Japan?
I don't know. But he's also... The former series is Nathan For You. And what he does, he goes to a liquor store. He goes, kids are always buying booze and stuff, right? But it's law. So what if we bring them in, they can buy the booze, and when they turn 21, they can drink it. You hold it in the back. He does this. Stuff like that. There's a brilliant. It's called Nathan For You. I highly recommend it.
For you. Okay. I'll add it to my list.
He's very Andy Kaufman-esque. Very. It's meta shtick. This is something that happened. My Japanese colleague in narration for 24 years has just been laid off by AI. Yeah. They found out how to just do what to just put the script in. I mean, I did this 12 years ago from Nagoya Radio. I had AI. It's gotten a lot better.
It has, but it's still not perfect. It's
But
still,
the voices.
the
like
voices are good, but the emphasis, it just doesn't not know.
Like our Gino girl is
Yeah.
pretty cool. She sounds like a hippie Colorado.
That's true.
But anyway, so she got laid off, and I'm looking at my boss, and she's like kind of smiling. They said, but they can't do that in English. She goes, oh, they can't? I said, no, they can't. I looked it up. They can't. It's a law. They can't. They actually can't do that. Oh, okay. No, they can't. No, they can't do that.
Did you take out your union card and you said you can't?
No, you can't. It's a nice studio you've got.
Yeah.
Is that a Korg mixer? That's really nice. God, is that fire retardant? Is it water resistant? Let me just give me seltzer water. It's my last day. It's my last day.
This is the future of keeping your job. How to keep your job.
It's gonna be a year. I mean, unfortunately, I think it's gonna be within a year. They're gonna figure out we can't do this in every lane.
And you know what? And then they're going to figure out that AI does not buy things.
It doesn't.
And when there's people don't have income coming in, they don't buy things.
Right.
So what's going to happen then? Are all these consumer businesses just going to go out of business, or like what's going to happen?
Or your clients are like, I really like Mark and Anita. I like their voices. Can we meet them? We want to buy them dinner. Oh, you can't. Why? Because they don't exist.
Well, that's like the
You'd have to hire actors.
De Niro did a movie about that, right? What was it called? With the woman who's a AI actress. She wasn't really real, but it was about Suzanne or something. I forget the name of it, but it was about this AI actress. Now, this is before AI was mainstream, so it was a real shock, and people thought she was a real woman, but it was all computer generated. And so they always had to make excuses as to why she could.
She wasn't a real person?
She wasn't a real person. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's an interesting movie. I forget the name of the title, but I'm sorry to hear that. That's horrible.
What was I saying? Oh, so James Havens. You remember the late, great Nagoya Radio?
Mm-hmm.
I sold it to some Filipinos. But I wrote, this was 12 years ago, and I wrote some AI. It was very simple then. I got a company in Australia, and with them, I wrote AI, and they said, I want the commercials here, and I want this here, and I want, after I played Led Zeppelin, I want a story about Led Zeppelin. And I record it, and you put it on at this time. I sold all that to some Filipino guys. And I don't know what the station's called now. And I gave them the domain, and I
There is a Nagoya in the Philippines.
There is. There was very little money in that.
There's very little money in radio.
Yeah, operating it.
The first time I've heard of it. There's a lot more in podcasting.
Yeah,
obviously.
well, it's funny because
Spotify.
it's true. There's actually 1,000 yen more in podcasting. There's 1,000 yen more, but that's something. That's not nothing, right? So I'm actually making more money in podcasting than we did with Nagoya. Except when I sold Nagoya Radio, I made money, but that's the only way is you can sell it. It's like a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Well, we found out when we went around Nagoya, I told you I had a salesman from the Congo, and we were walking around in August trying to sell to French charcuterie shops and bar shops everywhere. And we're walking around in August, and he's going, it's really hot here in Nagoya. And I'm from the Congo. But as we said, yeah, there's no trees in Nagoya. We're walking around. Anyway, and so we were trying to explain to Japanese people how to listen to our station. It's like, okay, to hear my show, you have to go to the internet at 9 p.m., between 9 and 11 p.m. Okay, what if I miss it? Well, you don't hear it.
Yeah.
Because it's playing live. That crazy lady that interviewed me and Mike a few years ago, it's kind of vanity publishing. So she rents a studio and they let her pretend that she's got a radio show, but they put it on the internet and you have to listen between 7 and 7:30 in the morning to hear your bit. And so podcasting erases all that. You listen when you want. It's on demand. It's on demand listening.
Just like streaming.
Yeah, it's on demand.
Mm-hmm.
And so James Havens, he got fired. I feel for him because when your radio station fires you, but in our case, Radio I went under and they fired everybody. I mean, we were out of jobs. And your first is, I'm not fired. I can still do radio. Mike, I don't need a transmitter or a studio or a mixer or music or staff. I am radio. I'm the Anthony Fauci of radio. Anthony Fauci is science, and I am radio. That's the first stage, denial. Second stage is anger. Okay, I'm going to show them I'm going to be bigger and better than Radio I. I don't think I'm there yet, Mike. But I'm going to show them, right? And so that's what he's going through. He's going through that, right? So he's got Heart FM. What an original name. iHeartRadio, ever heard of that? Biggest conglomerate of streaming in the U.S. and radio. They bought up all the radio networks. iHeartRadio bought up all of them. And he's on iHeartRadio. He's Heart Radio because if you have a heart, you don't fire James Havens. He's the Ringo Starr of radio, this guy. He's the luckiest guy. But he was bilingual. I was like 2 years late. He was the first bilingual guy that Zip FM found, and they went nuts for him.
But you can get away with that in Japan.
Yeah.
I remember Sonna ni Kanke Nai.
Boku.
Yeah. I think we've got it. When are we working on our Manzai act?
Yeah.
I got to get into work on that.
Well, I'm afraid to hit you in the head because you're already kind of balding up there.
The problem is actually, it shows. When I get hit on the head, it shows.
All right, so James Havens has got he just launched it maybe a year ago or something, and it's on the internet. I looked it up. There's 130 Heart stations. Not iHeartRadio. I mean like terrestrial stations in Canada and the U.S.
Yes.
There's 130 of them. And so I'm like, well, how do I listen to this? Go to the internet, look it up. I'm in the subway, man. I don't have time for this. I'm going to use my cell data to listen to that.
Yeah.
Do you have a podcast? I could do that. And so I predicted, I wrote him and I said, you're going to need help with the podcast. So I'll produce it for you, but you're going to pay me. And he wrote back and said, I don't need a podcast. I got a station. I said, yeah, I'm from the future, my friend. I am from the future. I was laid off 12 years before you were.
From the future via Hello Work.
Yeah. I was laid off 12 years before you were. I'm you in 12 years, okay? If you're lucky, you have a podcast. So.
But would you believe you in 10 years if you'd come back
No.
to you at the Radio I? No, you'd be like, no, I'm going to be doing morning drive in 2025.
You're going to meet this Japanese girl. I love Japanese girls. Yeah. And she's not going to listen to anything you say. And then when you're going to raise kids, she's going to almost kill one of them by letting them fall over because she wouldn't take your advice of making them wear a helmet before it was the law. Wow. No, I don't. That doesn't sound like Japanese girls. They're very docile. It doesn't sound like a Japanese wife. I think you're full of it, man. I think you just, who hurt you, Mark? Who hurt you? Your future wife. That's who hurt me. Japanese women, they're not passive aggressive. Mike, I don't know what you're talking about.
Just aggressive.
Passive aggressive. Yeah, so he's not listening, but I hope he doesn't do a podcast.
I go by there, by the way, every day on my bicycle.
Yeah.
I'm going to work, and it's right on a busy street. But it's really weird. It's ground level. I guess the glass windows, the noise dampening is good enough now that they can pretty much put a radio station anywhere. But it's literally right next to a huge road with a lot of traffic on it. 2 roads.
But it's not terrestrial radio.
It's not terrestrial. It's interesting. And they picked a name like Heart. How many? But then they get all you have to do is think about Hato in Japanese. How many radio stations are there named Hato?
There's already 3 in Japan. There's, like I said, 130 in North America.
Yeah.
If Zip FM laid you off, call it, I got your zipper right here. Radio.
Yeah.
I got your zip right here.
Yeah.
Zip this.
This is
Zip
something,
this.
and it's something that's interesting that was not a factor in the past. Because in the past, you'd open up a store, you'd be like, hey, this is Mark Bailey's place. And you'd be the only one in the town, and everyone would know where it was. And it's in Mark Bailey's place. Okay, let's go over to Mark Bailey's place. Now, with the internet, there's 500 million other Mark Baileys in the world, and they've all got their places. So when I'm looking for your place, I'm finding Mark Bailey's place in New York, Mark Bailey's place in Chicago, Mark Bailey's place in London, Mark Bailey's place. And it screws up search really badly.
It's like the Larry David episode where he didn't like the service at the coffee shop, so he opened one next door, the coffee shop. It's like these revenge. And then you had like revenge sneaker stores and revenge restaurants and all this stuff is revenge. It's like, you making any money? No, but the guy next to me isn't either. That's all I want. I want him to go out of business. And the guy next door goes out of business and you close yours. That's all I wanted. So James is going to have to go to podcasts. You heard it here in 2024. But he's not going to realize it for 8 years.
We probably have a bigger audience than he does.
Oh, we definitely do. We definitely do. Japanese, they're very passive-aggressive on technology. They say they love technology, and they do like it with the toilet and stuff. But it takes a long time. I remember when LASIK eye surgery came here, and they had free 500-page comic books explaining, is it safe? Daijoubu desu ka? Anzen desu ka? 돈이 카카르 네단도에바. And 500-page. You know how much money that costs to make 1,500,000-page comics just to explain?
Yeah.
Laser surgery. It's like, so what's this business you're getting into? I'm like, oh, it's laser eye surgery. Okay, so what does it do? Is it like correct your eyesight? Yeah, with the laser, right? Got it. I got it. I don't need a manga because I'm not Japanese.
Yeah.
All right? Japanese need the visuals. But once they catch up, they will kick your ass.
Right.
But it takes them a long time. It's like, I mean, do we really need, what is this? Like a World Wide Web? I mean, we got a phone, we got a fax. What do we need? So that's,
Yeah.
that's also a Larry David episode where the Japanese club owner, he says something to them in Japanese, and then they just say it for the rest of the show. They go like, "Hotri baka, baka." They go, "Hotri baka, baka, baka." They have no idea what it means. And so desu ka? So desu. It's like, you don't mock my Japanese. No, I'm sure Japanese is perfect. No, you are mocking me. You are mocking me. You are saying things in Japanese. You have no right. That's the thing in Larry David, one of his episodes. He'd walk into a sushi shop in L.A. and go, "Irashaimase!" And he would say it back. Mm-hmm. And then the owner goes, No. You are kyaku-san. You are kyaku-sama. You don't say irashaimase. It's not your shop. Mm-hmm. You are the visitor. You don't say irashaimase. He goes, I can irashaimase my ass off. I can irashaimase. I can do it anytime I want. It's just a word. He goes, it's not a word. It's honor. It is honor.
Yeah, I think I remember that one. No, very good, very good. Yeah, irashaimase is weird because when you first come to Japan, you're not used to it. And like Larry David's character, or Larry David, you want to say something back. Because usually if I say to you, good morning, you'd be like, good morning. So you think, well, if you say irashaimase, I should say irashaimase back, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a natural human impulse. But in Japan, there's no need to do it. You just, if you're Japanese, you don't even acknowledge their existence. You just like walk into whatever. I always like kind of nod a little because I feel like it's polite, but most Japanese people don't care. They just walk right in.
I have fights with my wife. I would tell her, and I would sing that, and she goes, yeah, but Japanese people won't understand. They just think you don't understand Japanese. I said, but I think you don't understand humor. I actually understand Japanese better than you. I'm the Victor Borge at Japanese.
Yeah.
I understand. Victor Borge would always do this, he replaced punctuation with sounds.
Right.
She walked into the room and she was pregnant.
Yeah.
And she looked at him and he was erect.
Yeah, it's true. He would do that.
And he goes, it's your language. I'm just using it. He was Danish. He was Danish Jew. Danish Jew. Genius.
Yeah, very, very smart guys. Made a living touring philharmonic and orchestras, orchestras around the world.
I think his son is kind of still continuing it. We had another one with inflation, inflationary language. And he said, you probably thought I would be cursing, but inflationary language, prices have gone up. So instead of inflate, it's infla-9. Instead of being an orator, she's an or-niner. It's not 1-on-1, it's 2-on-2. Is it this two or the other two?
I need more beer. No, he was good though. He had a real stage presence as well. And he would joke around on the piano and he would pluck strings inside. He'd stand on the stool and he had a whole act.
He was amazing.
All right, we got to wrap this up. It's Mark Bailey, Mike Miller, and Talk Funny